Ethan Morales wiped down the counter for the third time that hour. At 26, he had the soft eyes of someone who listened more than he spoke, and the posture of someone who had learned to make himself small. His uniform was clean but faded, the name tag scratched from years of use. Most customers didn't notice him. Some barely looked at him at all. Tips were unpredictable, rent was late again, and the letter from the power company sat unopened in his backpack, heavy with fear. Ethan worked 2 jobs, but the diner was the one he held onto the tightest. Not because it paid well, it didn't, but because it felt safe. The owner, Mrs. Callahan, let him eat leftovers at the end of the night and never asked questions when he stayed late to avoid going back to a dark apartment. Ethan told himself that if he just kept moving, kept serving, kept smiling, something would eventually change. The bell above the door jingled, and a man stepped inside, shaking snow from his coat. He looked to be in his early 40s, well-dressed but worn, like someone who had once been successful and was now trying to remember how that felt. His name, Ethan would later learn, was Robert Hayes. Robert sat alone in a booth near the window. He ordered black coffee, nothing else. Ethan noticed the way his hands trembled slightly as he lifted the cup, and how his eyes kept drifting to his phone, face down on the table like a secret he didn't want to see. People who sit alone late at night usually carry something heavy. Ethan knew that look well. "Let me know if you want anything," Ethan said gently. Robert nodded without meeting his eyes. Minutes passed. The diner grew quieter. A couple paid and left. Outside, the snow thickened, blurring the city lights. Ethan refilled Robert's coffee, noticing it was barely touched. "You okay, sir?" he asked, softly enough not to intrude. For a moment, Robert didn't answer. Then he let out a breath that sounded like it had been trapped in his chest for years. "I don't know," he said. "Honestly, I don't think so." Most waiters would have nodded and walked away. Ethan didn't. He stayed still, present. Robert looked up then, surprised. Something in Ethan's face, maybe the patience, maybe the lack of judgment, opened a door he hadn't planned to unlock. "I lost my job last month," Robert said. 20 years at the same company. One meeting, one handshake, and that was it. My wife, she left 2 weeks later. Said I was emotionally unavailable. I guess she wasn't wrong. Ethan listened. He didn't interrupt. He didn't offer advice. He just listened, and that alone felt like a small mercy. "I came here because I didn't want to be alone," Robert continued. "But I didn't want to be around anyone either. Funny how that works." Ethan smiled sadly. "Yeah, I know." Robert studied him. "You do." Ethan hesitated. He rarely talked.